I'm in one of the most famous plantsman's gardens of the 20th century. From the late 1930s, for about 40 years, Cedric Morris, horticulturalist and painter, bred and fostered plants here, particularly of a Mediterranean persuasion. These gardens became a mecca, a place of pilgrimage for plant enthusiasts across Britain. These gardens were also a source of inspiration for artists who were trained here by Cedric, including Lucien Freud and Maggie Hamling. And now these gardens are in the process of being revived. And leading the project is head gardener at Benton End, James Horner. Initially, he faced a daunting task.
The garden was very overgrown, lots of trees which had overgrown the space, some of which Cedric planted. Then also the grasses had moved in the 40 years nobody had gardened here. It'd become really a meadow with Cedric's jewels popping up under that layer. So we had to peel back all those layers, the trees, the meadow, and begin to see what was left. So what's important to understand is in 1982, when Cedric Morris passed away, he'd already appointed a plant executor, Jenny Robinson, and it was her role to distribute all his bulbs and precious plant collection away to gardeners so they'd live on these plants. But of course she left some because it would have been too large a feat to get every single bulb. And they're the plants which have been recurring here and popping up through the grass. What we began with was a garden which was grassy and had lots of trees and canopy cover. And of course we want this garden to be Mediterranean again, so we can grow all the assortment of great plants from the Iberian Peninsula and North Africa Cedric was growing here. Looking at Cedric's paintings, we can identify some of the plants which were key to his garden during the 50s. Crown fritillaries are still here, they've survived all that time. Also the corkscrew hazel is mature and majestic, still now in the garden. The wood spurge we've reintroduced to the garden actually, and that was looking at Easter Bouquet as a reference, the painting. So many people have been giving plants back to Benton End. John Morley, who was a friend of Cedric's, a regular visitor here at Benton End, has been really generously donating the plants he received from Cedric 40, 50 years ago maybe, back to Benton End. So we've got recently the Cotyledon orbiculata, Cedric Morris, the Narcissus terzettas, the Anemone stellatas, which are in flower here today, as well as special irises, which he gave to Cedric as well. And many of these plants you can see in Cedric's paintings. In terms of the redesign of this garden, it's been really exciting to look at Cedric's landscape and garden paintings, particularly the cypress garden, which shows this straight axis with a focal point at the end and multiple cypress trees in the background, as well as some of the planting on either side of the path is very loose and not symmetrical, quite organic. And we know that Cedric planted in this naturalistic way, and we're really taking those key elements of the paintings we can see back into the planting and the style and the layout for the garden. So take the painting Benton Blue Tip with the house as a background. It really looks as though it could be the garden. There's a rose kind of tumbling over on the left-hand side and a clematis up on the right, irises of a bascum which isn't even in full flower, but it's there in rosette. It could just be a border as the garden may have looked. We can take masses of inspiration from that painting. Cedric's paintings from the 1960s, particularly Landscape of Shame and Natura Morta, have really influenced how we've approached the restoration of this garden. It's been fully chemical-free, our approach, organic throughout, and last year we did a whole biodiversity survey which has given us an impression of exactly what wildlife lives in this garden. When we've been taking out trees, we've made these big habitat piles which are great habitat homes for beetles and bugs, ladybirds to overwinter in. So the art has really been a great influence on exactly the responsibility of what we have to take care of here. Cedric was a great lover of nature. You can see the affection he had for nature in his paintings. Cedric's iris paintings are amongst his most well-known, of course, so no garden of Cedric Morris's would be complete without reinstating an iris collection here at Benton End. So we've re-established about 25 different Cedric Morris irises back here at Benton End. They're all lined out here in our stock area before going back into the wall garden in this autumn winter. The art has been incredibly inspirational and useful resource for us as we repaint this garden, really. And our hope is that by May 2026, when the irises bloom, we're ready to reopen.
It's not just the garden that's been helped by the art. This is the fireplace in the dining room. And if you look at this picture from the late 1950s by Cedric Morris, you can see he's painted it. It's part of a still life. And above it, you'll see a beguiling pink colour. So as a result of the painting, the pink was searched for and found by just removing a tiny little flake up here of white outer paint. This can now offer the choice of colour when restoring the interior of this room. This whole story is a properly poetical one, in which great art is the driving force in reawakening the past.